Howdy, it's Hangman. You know, the question has been posed to me more than once, honestly, and actually quite a few times. Uh, why I would put up with some of the things that have been done to me by certain people, mainly one certain person in particular, but I'm not naming no names. And I'm not just a super duper humble dude and all this other stuff, but I got some principles that I stick to, man. I got quite a few, and I do try to stick to them. And, you know, I've mentioned before as well that not only mourning the loss of a family, but also a loss of a conviction, kind of in a sense, because I can no longer say and teach my children or any say with conviction that you never hit a woman, um, because you do. I mean, obviously I did it. I'm not proud of it by any means. I'm not glorifying it, but facts is facts. Uh, a very unexpected source shared with me his view on it, and I wasn't expecting it at all, but I'm glad it came to. But it's talking about accountability. We'll get back to the reason I put up with people. We're talking about accountability again. This is going to come up a lot. Uh, Accountability on my behalf, I have acknowledged, uh, but there is an amount of accountability on behalf of the female in this case. And then, in some cases, in my case, it's not here to discuss specifics, and I'm not here to bash anybody. But if indeed you persist to push somebody, okay, if you go into a lion's den and you poking him with a stick, and you poke him with a stick, and you poke him with a stick, the lion just looks at you, just look at you, just look at you. He's like, man, I don't want to get up, I don't want to fuck this bitch up, man. But when that lion gets up, oh, he's gonna rip your ass, okay? And I have seen, and I'm really careful what I judge people, but you have to be held accountable for your portion of. I mean, if you know the man, and even a step farther than that, what kind of pussy motherfucker would you want to sit there and take some shit like that? Just sit there and just take it. You're going to demasculate a man? No, that's not okay either. You know, Granted, there are other ways to hurt somebody. If I could go back in time, I can't say that I wouldn't have done something. I wouldn't do the same thing. Not because of good, I'm not in trouble for it. I'm not getting in trouble for it. I'm not. I'm going to hold myself accountable. And I will. But it's neither here nor there. But anyway, the reason that I have dealt with so much and taken, not as gracefully as some may think, but I have a belief in something. Okay, I mean, I have an idea. I can't really believe in something that I don't have a, a definitive definition of, I guess. But if you go through something, if you get to the point of climbing Mount Everest, I mean, I'm into using analogies today for some reason, but if you're climbing Mount Everest and you get halfway up, do you turn around and go back down? Or do you keep going to the top? I mean, it's that halfway mark. It's a motherfucker. I passed that halfway mark a long time ago, okay? And I believe once you get past that top with somebody else, that you'll have something that nobody has anymore. And that is, you know, love is not unicorns and rainbows. And in my experience, very little of it is even pleasant, it seems like. But every bit of it has been worth it, if that makes any sense. But I feel like if I stuck it out long enough through the hardest shit, once you make it past that, then that's something you ain't never got to worry about again. That person's always going to be there. That person's always going to have your back no matter what. And while I admire the sentiment of doing something for your kids and everything, but kids, I love my kids to death. Okay, my kids are going to grow up and go away. Okay, let's be frank here, and I'll love them too, and they'll be little assholes just like I am with with the rest of my family. I just disappeared, forget about everything. I ain't forget about nobody. But the person I spend the rest of my life with is going to be there for the rest of my life. And that's something to consider. But that's just something for y'all to think about. And that was just something I had on my mind. And I mean, I'm not gonna, it's going to take a lot more than what's being done for me to discredit my trip up the mountain thus far. Heyman's Diary.